Hello folks, welcome to video number 206. This is on averages from a grouped table. The keyword is estimate, which is work out a rough answer to, and the key notation is the less than or the less than or the same as symbols, which are used in the grouped data column. Now this is very similar to averages from a table, which is the previous video, but we need to call our answer an estimate because the data has been grouped. Alright, I'll explain a little bit more when I get into the questions. It's mainly about estimating the mean, and the way that we do this is we find the midpoint of each class in the first step. The second step is to multiply the midpoints by the frequencies. The third step is to add everything up, and then the fourth step is to divide by the total frequency, which I will do in each one of these questions. Now, in question number 1, we've got to estimate the mean for the grouped frequency table. We might be asked to work out ranges and medians and things like that as well, but most of the time it's about estimating the mean. 4 marks on a standalone question. So, first step, find the midpoint of each class. Now the midpoint, we've got a column for it. They do put these columns in blank in the exam papers sometimes. So this one we use for the midpoints, and that means the halfway point between these heights. Now this could be the heights of people. There are 6 people that have been categorized in between the heights of 100 and 120 centimeters tall. We don't know how tall each one of these 6 people is, so we say that they are 110 centimeters because it's between these 2 values. Okay, the same for this one. These ones are 130 centimeters tall. These ones are 150. These ones will be 170. These 4 people here, and these 11 will be 190. Okay, now this goes up in the same increments each time, but not always the case. In this particular question, it does. So watch out for that sometimes. Then we've got the another column here, which is the second step, multiply the midpoints by frequencies. Okay, so we've got 2 columns, added them on. Now what we do, and what I like to think of when we do this, is we stitch these 2 things together. Frequencies and midpoint columns, we stitch them together with some multiplication symbols, and we decide that we need to multiply these things together. So we do that. We do 6 times 110, 660. 5 times 130, and I'll get my calculator in to do these calculations. So 5 multiplies by the 130, that gives us 650. Let's just move that over there. I have just done this, but I can't remember what all the answers are. I've written the other ones down for the other 2 questions, so it won't take us long. Alright, so 8 times by 150, it gives us 1200. Alright, 4 times the 170, equals 680. And the last one is 11 times 190. Okay, 2090. So this is the heights of all the 11 people. This is the heights of all the 4 people. This is the heights of the 8 people, if they were indeed this number of centimeters tall. They aren't. It would be very unlikely if they were, but we had to take a number to do some calculations with, so we took the middle of the class width data. So adding all those numbers up, I'm going to add everything in this column up now. Okay, so I've got the 2090 on the screen. I'm going to add the 680. I'm going to add the 1200. I'm going to add the 650 and the 660, and I'm going to get 5280. Okay, that total, I could write it at the bottom, but I haven't got enough room. That total is the number of centimeters everybody is all added up. Now this is a bit where people tend to go wrong quite frequently. They tend to divide by the number of categories that there are, but it's not that. It's the number of people, the number of things that there are, which is the total frequency, which is why in the method I've written, divide by the total frequency. So add all the frequency numbers up. We've got 6 plus 5 plus the 8 plus the 4 plus the 11 is 34, and that's what we need to divide by. So we can type that into the calculator and then round our answer off maybe if we need to. So 5280 divided by 34 gives us this fraction. Don't give that as an answer. Let's put our decimal in. So 155 point, I'm going to round it to 1 decimal place, 155.3 centimeters. Okay, so nothing more complicated than actually just working out the mean for the grouped frequency table that we had. We had these nice blank columns. It was quite a nice version of the question, as always with number 1. Now, question number 2 is very similar, but we've got a bit of context here. So David thinks the mean average donation to his GoFundMe page is over £148. It's over £148. Work out an estimate of the mean to decide if David is correct. Okay, so all we've got to do is exactly the same thing as previous question, but do a comparison as well. So we're going to put the midpoint column in our cell because there isn't one there for us, and then the midpoint times the frequency. And then I'm just going to draw those 2 columns in. This slightly goes off the page, but try and keep it as neat as possible. And then what I've done, so it saves you watching me type stuff into the calculators. I've written down the answers to these and it will save some time. So the midpoints again are they're exactly the same as the first question. So they go up in intervals there of 20. Yeah, they were all the same. And then the midpoint times frequency, so that times that is 1320. That multiplied by that, 2990, 4200. 17 times 170, 2890, and then 14 times 190, 2660. Exactly the same thing as what I did in the first question. So if you fast forwarded the video, please watch the first question to know what to do for that bit there. Then add everything up in this column. So this column adds up to 14,060. Okay, add everything up in the frequency column, gives you 94. And then what we do is 14060, and we divide it by 94, and we get an answer. And I can't remember what the answer is to that, so I didn't write it down. So I will do that final calculation. Again, you don't have to do it as a fraction necessarily. You could do 14060, divide it by 94, see if it's over £148 on average. The mean average is £149.57. I think 57, yes. So is David correct? Is it over £148? We've just shown yes, he is. Okay, so our answer is yes to that question, and our maths backs it up. Right, third question, I'm going to do a similar thing. It's slightly more complicated as always with number 3. So the height of 40 boys is recorded in the grouped frequency table. That's what this one's about. 40 girls had a mean average height of 135 centimeters. So we know the girls, same number of girls there, 135 centimeters. Estimate the mean for the girls as a percentage of the mean for the boys. Okay, so basically all we have to do with this one is the same thing to begin with. So we do the same. We need the boys' mean, so MP times the frequency. Get the midpoints. The midpoints are a bit more tricky on this one, so I'll just show you the first one. All right, what you do with this, if you're not sure halfway between these two is, you can always do 100 plus the 115 and then divide by 2. All right, oops, don't divide by 2 yet, press equals first and then divide by 2, because that will give you the midpoint halfway between them, 107.5. All right, do the same for this one, you get 127.5. Do the same thing for this one, you get 147.5. This one gives you 167.5, and this one is halfway between these two, and this was where you've got to be very careful sometimes because it doesn't go up in 20s every single time. This one is just 190. Okay, then we multiply these together and we get some numbers. 5 times the 107.5 is 537.5. Just fill these ones in as well. 765, 1327.5, 18, 42.5, and 1710. Right, adding all of that up, the heights again, aren't they? So that's 6182.5. Then we need to divide by the total number of boys there are, so that's 40. Alright, so I haven't done that calculation, so let's work out what that is. 6182.5 divided by 40 gives us 154.6, sorry, it's 0.5625. Okay, so estimate the mean for the girls as a percentage of the mean for the boys. So it's just adding an extra element in here. We need to do the girls 135, let's put as a fraction, and divide it by the answer that we had for the boys, and then we can multiply it by 100 because we want it as a percentage, and that is going to give us 87.34. Let's just round to 2 decimal places, so 87.34%. And the calculation I did there was 135 out of the answer that we got for the boys and multiplied by 100 because we wanted it as a percentage for the mean for the girls as a percentage of the mean for the boys. Okay, so there you go. That's it. It's a nice topic to get 4 marks on in the most simplistic of forms, and then we get extra question or extra little elements like the third one here. But in essence, pretty much the same thing. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one. Take care of one another. Like, subscribe, do the extra revision resources when they're there, and I'll see you again soon if you choose to watch another video. Thank you. Bye bye.